Firing with the Vanguard newspaper this morning, and just above the masthead, we have Nigeria's $42 billion external reserves can finance 9-month imports. That's coming from the Central Bank of Nigeria. And we agreed on sale of 20% stake at $2.76 billion. That's coming from Dangote Refinery. Tax reform bills. Those who don't understand bills are the loudest critics. That's coming from the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio. Abuja demolitions. Armed soldiers attack development control officials, cut away vehicles. You find the details on page 19, 9, and 6. And at the side piece of the picture story, local government chairman fault suspension by Edo House of Assembly, and FG to improve power supply with 750 million World Bank loan. Details on page 12 and 8. And 2025, Tinubu seeks 34.82 trillion revenue to fund 49.7 trillion budget. Find details on page 3. And the picture story you see there, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu being assisted by the special advisor to the president on national assembly matters, Senator Bashir Lado, during the presentation of the 2025 budget proposal to the joint session of the National Assembly in Abuja yesterday. And the headlines in the Vanguard newspaper: Nigeria-Ghana elections compared. 7 reasons beavers may never work in Nigeria. That's coming from an investigative report in the Vanguard newspaper. And let me quickly go to the Leadership newspaper, and just above the masthead, for its leadership qualities, influence, and adept political maneuvers, Senator Adams Aliu Oshomole is the Politician of the Year 2024 award. You read the details all on page 10. And below the masthead, 2025 budget, FGM marks 14.97 trillion for security orders, target 1,500 to 15% inflation rate, and National Assembly vows swift passage. Details on page 7. Northern women, others storm Kaduna for historic Unity Conference. You find details on page 40. Side piece of the picture story: FG to sell new oil wells in 2025. Details on page 45. Stampede: 32 die at Children Carnival in Oyo. Government arrest organizers. Details on page 42. Suspended Edo local government chairman vow to remain in office. Details on page 44. Counterinsurgency: army wings 22 pilots, technicians. You find details on page 39. And Yuletide: passengers groan as flight tickets to Southeast near 1 million naira. With riders, airlines charge 700k for Lagos Anambra return tickets. Travelers on Anambra Owerri Enugu routes shift to journey by road. Clear. 1 million.
Okay, are you done?
I'm done.
All right. So let me also take a look at People's Daily.
Yeah.
And People's Daily, of course, is also leading with Tinubu presenting the appropriation bill to the National Assembly. They had some breakdowns there right in front, and that's the lead story. And the picture story is also accompanying that. And the writer to the picture story, Akpabio, hints on extending 2024 budget by 6 months for full implementation. Details of that is on page 15. Now, our people are treated as slaves by mining companies. That's Nasarawa lawmaker. It's on page 3. This is one of the stories that is trending on at the foot of the paper, or at the base of the paper, if you may. Dangote Refinery denies liquidity challenges. Says NNPC acquired with $1 billion investment. It's on page 4. And Zamfara, 30-year-old man in NSCDC net over friend, stolen car and phones. Page 7. Property owners face revocation as Kano government gives days for certificate renewal. Details of that on page 2. That's the outlook of the People's Daily on the front page. Chooks the boy. Time to your review. Which one? I'm sure.
I don't think.
Yeah.
You don't think what?
I don't think Dangote and NNPC need to quibble anymore about we have achieved something that makes us proud in Africa. Telling us the $1 billion they dropped is just 5%, and what we agreed was a 2-point-something billion coming from them. Although 1 billion was supposed to be dropped, then over 5 years, crude, is change and all that will take care of the rest. But as I said, all that is unnecessary anymore. Dangote is saying if we were cash trapped or we were in distress over funding, why would we give them such generous? I say it is not necessary. We have achieved a lot, and market forces are beginning to work in terms of
Absolutely. It's coming down.
Yes, of course.
Absolutely.
You move just a kilometer, you see 1,080. You move another kilometer, you see 1,100. 1,060.
I'm delighted that finally the prediction of the CBN is gradually creeping in, because what they said they wanted to do was to mop up the excess cash in the public.
Okay.
And when you do that, of course, you are indirectly affecting purchasing capabilities. I mean,
because you want to bring down
yes. So when that happens, it's going to impact on the prices of commodity. Your ability to buy decreases. It forces prices to come down.
Exactly.
And when prices come down,
you actually begin now to buy only when it is necessary. That's
so
it.
Inflation, exactly, inflation. So we are happy that is happening, but we will speak further on it when we take on the when we just oppose that with the 2025 budget.
Yes.
Chukudi.
It's
There
okay.
are other stories that
there are other stories.
The Ghana, I would have loved us to mention.
Yes, the beavers
very
never
important.
work in Nigeria. Yes, I was just trying to go to
very
it.
important, my
Yes,
dear.
Investigative
Yes.
reports.
may never
may
work
never
in
work in that, but it has worked now.
That's right. That's
I
the
don't understand.
No. When it is an investigation, take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
We are not denigrating the integrity of our fellow journalists.
No.
But then an investigation is an investigation. You didn't hear it from the lips of the Minister of Information. So it is the newspapers or whatever.
Yes.
You are just asking the question I asked as I looked at the newspapers. May not work. Has it not worked to some extent? Is it opportunity for us now to suggest how we can improve it rather than the negativist?
Yes.
You remember, it is better to say the cup is half full of water and not half empty. But then it depends on what paper wants to sell, where, and all that. You understand? And
but even
for things to work,
yes,
sorry, my dear.
Yes.
Ghana has blazed a trail. They did the last time. Nigeria has no reason not to also show that it can do it.
And do it better.
In what area?
How would we expect that things will work perfectly when we still mention late arrival of materials in some cases?
Vote buying.
What about the honesty of the INEC officials? I'm not indicting them. But I know that Jega granted me an interview and told me he was one of my best. And the best he mentioned to me, there were just few. He was talking about a man called Mike Egene.
Yes.
When we went to make him one of the models of integrity, Luke Stera, he said he was one of my best. Can we have election commissioners, election officials that, Mahmoud, what was the other name, please? I'm sorry.
Yakubu.
You can easily say they were some of my best.
Yes.
These are the little issues. We're not indicting INEC at all, please. We're just posing necessary questions.
Chukwude,
Yes.
I think there are certain parameters that we must be careful, you understand, in comparing Nigeria with Ghana. Which may not really be so. But in the area of the principle of zero game, seeing politics as a winner takes all.
Yes.
that is where we need to look at, because Ghana has shown that, look, this is, a fair game. If you lose, I congratulate you and I take it in good faith.
Took it.
Yes, and I give you a handshake.
Yes.
No bickering. That is what we need to investigate and see what is it that is driving. Is it the transparency, or is it in the shared, agreement on written patriotism in the Ghana project,
or natural cynicism?
Briefly, let me in the investigative report, they said electoral officers in Ghana are appointed based on merit and neutrality, ensuring that those overseeing the electoral process are not influenced by political affiliations. This reduces the likelihood of human interference in technological operations like the weavers.
To be a little
this is just one of the reasons here.
How they also talked about Vanguard investigation, talked about how Afari Gyan, chairman of Ghana's Electoral Commission, served with integrity from 1993 to 2015.
Yes.
Can you see where it's all going? We are not indicting.
And Jega is saying that Nigeria owes him a lot.
Of course, yes.
Let's we have 1 minute to go. Let's talk about this statement by the Senate President. Tax reform bills. Those who don't understand bills are the largest critics.
And it reminds me of what my friend said to me one day, Chukudi. I know you talk a lot, but at least what I'm talking about before you take a stance. I don't know what you're going to do next. I just
what I want to say to that is, if they don't understand it,
how do you explain
to them? That is the reason they need.
Exactly.
That's why Nigerians need more.
Exactly.
NTA has been doing what the best they can to explain these bills to Nigerians. Yes,
because they don't understand.
They don't understand, so they need to understand the tax reform.
So we shouldn't.
Okay, Chooks. On that, we